In the wake of the devastating attacks on October 7th, a decision of immense consequence looms over the Middle East. Israel, still reeling from the single deadliest day in its history, stands poised on the brink of what could be one of the most complex and brutal urban warfare campaigns of the 21st century, a ground invasion of Gaza City. The stated objective from Israeli leadership is unequivocal: to utterly dismantle the military and governing capabilities of Hamas. But the path to achieving that goal is a minefield, both literally and figuratively, fraught with unparalleled danger. It's a danger not just for the combatants, but for the hundreds of thousands of civilians caught in the crossfire, for the hostages held in unknown locations, and for the very stability of the region itself. Today, we delve into the monumental challenges facing the Israeli military as it prepares to enter the lion's den.
To really grasp the scale of this operation, you have to understand what Gaza City is. This isn't just a dot on a map. It is the political, symbolic, and military nerve center of Hamas. For over 15 years, they have systematically embedded their entire infrastructure deep within the city's civilian fabric. Command centers are believed to be located in bunkers beneath hospitals, like Al-Shifa. Rocket launch sites are placed in parks and next to schools. Weapons caches are hidden in the basements of residential buildings. It's the group's undisputed center of gravity. For Israel's war cabinet, the logic is stark. To break Hamas as an organization, they must seize its heart.
And that urban fabric is one of the most densely populated in the world. We're talking about a labyrinth of narrow streets, some too tight for a tank, flanked by multi-story apartment blocks that create urban canyons. This environment is an infantryman's nightmare. Every window, every doorway, every pile of rubble from prior airstrikes can conceal an anti-tank missile team or a sniper. The battle space is ferociously three-dimensional. The Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, have overwhelming advantages in technology, air power, and intelligence. But in the claustrophobic confines of close-quarters urban combat, that advantage is significantly blunted. It becomes a soldier's war, fought block by block, room by room.
That's right, Neil. This is the great equalizer in modern warfare. The defenders have almost every tactical advantage. They know the terrain intimately. They've had years to prepare defensive positions, to preposition weapons, and to rig entire buildings with explosives, turning them into colossal traps for advancing soldiers. They can utilize the civilian population, willingly or not, as a human shield, creating an impossible moral and legal quagmire for the IDF. Every decision to use heavy artillery or an airstrike to take out a sniper's nest risks immense collateral damage, which is broadcast globally in seconds and plays directly into Hamas's core strategic goal of isolating Israel on the world stage.
And just when you think the battlefield couldn't get more complex, you have to look down. Beneath the surface lies another, even more formidable challenge: a vast, subterranean network of tunnels, often referred to by the IDF as the Gaza Metro. This isn't just a few crude passages, it's a highly sophisticated, multi-layered underground city. Experts estimate there are hundreds of kilometers of these interconnected tunnels, some reinforced with concrete, equipped with electricity and communication lines, and buried tens of meters deep, protecting them from all but the most powerful bunker-busting bombs.
These tunnels are the lifeblood of Hamas's military operations. They serve multiple critical purposes. They are logistics and transportation routes, allowing fighters to move undetected across the battlefield to resupply, reinforce, or stage surprise attacks, popping up miles from where they were last seen. They are fortified command and control bunkers, protecting the group's senior leadership from targeted strikes. They are weapons factories and long-term storage depots. And most chillingly in the current context, they are the perfect hiding place for hostages, keeping them far from the reach of potential rescue forces.
Engaging the enemy in this subterranean environment is arguably the most dangerous form of warfare imaginable. It's pitch black, claustrophobic, and often oxygen deprived. Standard radio communications and GPS simply do not work, isolating units from their support. The tunnels are almost certainly booby-trapped with improvised explosive devices and designed with deadly choke points for ambushes. Clearing them requires highly specialized tunnel rat units, advanced robotics, and immense personal bravery. It's an agonizingly slow, methodical, and bloody process, with the constant risk of combatants emerging from undiscovered side tunnels or triggering a collapse.
And all of this brings us back to the most delicate and agonizing challenge of all: the hostages. We're talking about more than 200 people, babies, children, women, and the elderly, from multiple nationalities, abducted and now held by Hamas. A full-scale, shock and awe ground invasion places their lives in the most extreme jeopardy. They could be killed in the crossfire of an intense firefight, deliberately executed by their captors in response to the invasion, or used as human shields to physically block the Israeli advance. Their presence complicates every single tactical decision for commanders on the ground.
The Israeli government is facing unbearable pressure from the families of these hostages, and indeed from the international community, to prioritize their safe return. This creates a fundamental paradox. A large-scale military operation, with its reliance on heavy firepower, is completely at odds with a delicate, intelligence-led hostage rescue mission. How can an artillery commander approve a fire mission on a building when they have intelligence suggesting hostages might be in the basement? How can a soldier throw a grenade into a room when they don't know if their own citizens are on the other side of the door? It creates an almost impossible command dilemma that weighs on every single soldier.
It's also crucial to understand that the IDF is not charging into this blindly. Within the Israeli military and intelligence communities, there is a clear-eyed and sobering assessment of the profound risks. Drawing from the hard-learned lessons of the 2006 Lebanon War and previous ground operations in Gaza, they anticipate a long attritional fight. They have publicly and privately warned the political leadership to expect a high number of casualties among their own troops. There is no illusion that this will be a quick or easy fight. They know that a definitive victory is difficult to even define. You can clear a city, but you cannot kill an idea with a bullet.
And that leads to the ultimate unanswered strategic question that looms over this entire operation. What happens on the day after? Let's assume, for the sake of argument, that the invasion is a military success and Hamas's command structure in Gaza City is shattered. What comes next? Who governs Gaza and its 2 million inhabitants? Israel has been adamant that it has no desire to reoccupy the territory and become responsible for its administration. But leaving a power vacuum is equally dangerous. It could lead to total anarchy, the rise of even more extreme groups, or the eventual resurgence of Hamas itself.
There are no good options on the table. Some have proposed an international or Arab-led peacekeeping force, but no country has volunteered for such a perilous mission. Others have suggested handing control back to the Palestinian Authority, but they are weak and have no legitimacy in Gaza. Without a clear, viable, and internationally backed political plan for the future of the Strip, any military victory risks being temporary and ultimately hollow, a tactical success that leads to a strategic failure.
And we haven't even touched on the enormous risk of regional escalation. This conflict isn't happening in a vacuum. To the north, Hezbollah in Lebanon, an Iranian proxy far more powerful than Hamas, has been exchanging fire with the IDF daily. A full-scale invasion of Gaza could be the trigger that ignites a second, far more devastating front. This is the nightmare scenario for Israel's strategic planners, a multi-front war that could draw in other regional powers, and potentially even the United States.
That's the tightrope they're walking. Every action in Gaza is being watched by a dozen different actors with their own agendas. Iran, the primary backer of both Hamas and Hezbollah, is a key player here. They could see a major Israeli operation as an opportunity to activate their network of proxies across the region, from Syria to Iraq and Yemen, creating a multi-front crisis. This isn't just about another border skirmish. It's about the potential for a regional conflict that could disrupt global energy supplies, draw in major world powers, and destabilize the entire Middle East. The stakes are incredibly high, and the potential for miscalculation is enormous. A single stray missile or a targeted strike that goes wrong could be the spark that ignites a much larger fire.
So, as Israeli forces prepare for a potential order to advance, they face not one, but a cascade of interlocking and wicked problems. A brutal urban battlefield designed to kill soldiers. A hidden subterranean fortress that negates technological superiority. A heart-wrenching hostage crisis that paralyzes tactical options. They are also confronting their own army's stark warnings about heavy losses and the glaring absence of a long-term political endgame. The decision to invade Gaza City is not merely a tactical one. It is a momentous gamble with profound military, humanitarian, and political consequences that, for better or for worse, will echo across the region for years to come.